what they. I mean, we've gotten to see some fantastic games of what they're gonna do for the end of the set here, but we are getting started. It does look like Stardust went second. We got that Raven Bloom on Koko's side, which was that nice 2 cost he wanted. Looks like he is playing Reaver's Row versus that Vile Maw from Stardust side. And Wilder of Water is in play. Wilder of Water, really, really cool card in my opinion. It's a 2 for 3, but he's a 4 attacking by himself. Technically a 4 defending by himself, but with Yi is a 6. But Kaisa doesn't really care. All she has to do is blast him with spell power.
That's true. I mean, Hextech Ray, just a really great answer into it. Can't really do it while you're in a battle, but, you know.
Outside of it, though.
Very good.
Yeah, agreed. And I actually remember playing Yi a long time ago, or Ari like a long time ago. I was just like, man, I'm +2, or you're supposed to be -1, but we're not even doing a battle here because it's Kaisa. But with the spell damage. But yeah, Wilder of Water, I do love him. He's more than a mini boss.
He is a little bit of a mini boss, actually. Yeah. I mean, I think one of the big issues that I think Ari faced and still continues to face is Kaisa, and because she's such a prevalent deck in the meta, Ari really could never find her home.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit surprised that Yi managed to find his home.
Well, he's more than, and she's. I just kind of think Yi's almost like just a better Ari to some extent in how we play the game today.
Yeah, at least here at set 1. I think in set 2, Ari gets a little bit better, but everyone else just gets so turbocharged, including, okay, I will say that Chaos gets the most turbocharged. I'm sure you've already heard this a bunch and seen people complaining on Twitter about it, but yeah, Chaos is doing good.
Chaos is eating well in set 2. It ate well in set 1 too, though. Let's be honest.
Sure did.
Chaos ate 1 in set 1, and it's eaten well in set 2. But I'm excited to see what people end up doing with it. We does look like we're getting that Clockwork Keeper down now for Stardust. I think he did recycle a green.
He did.
Yeah, he recycled green, so he was able to draw off of that. And his Wilder of Water is sitting in that Reaver's Row.
Yeah, I mean, the Wheel of Water is doing quite well for themselves. I think that even if there is something like a Falling Star that's going to come down here, there is an On Guard, so that Wheel of Water will be able to survive, and it's going to be able to get +4 from itself as well as Yi. So if it does survive, neither Kaisa nor that Raven Bloom student can go in.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great question what's going to happen. I think Wilder of Water pairs so well with the same text of Yi, because it's the defend by yourself or attack/defend by yourself. It's really, really nice. So I'm excited to see it in this list. But yeah, I'm interested to see what Koko does to try to disrupt this Wilder of Water sitting in Reaver's Row. And then obviously someone's going to find his way to buy them all. And then he's just going to sit there, or he'll lose.
Yeah, I mean, and Yi doesn't really care if he just has all those guys in there, but that Singularity is going to come down, and it's going to provide a very big problem for Stardust indeed. So the Singularity is going to be able to clear out the entire field very likely here, because even if he has a way to get +4, that Wheel of Water is only going to be at 6 with that
dead.
+4, and it is still dead. So instead, just going to drop down this Find Your Center, hopefully find something a little bit more useful to do on these following turns. But for now, Kai's going to be able to pull a pretty significant lead, and it's going to be at 5 points before Stardust is really able to do something about it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we're going to see if Stardust can come back from this. His whole board got wiped there, and then Koko was just able to ease into the battlefields. And he's going to be sitting pretty here. It is 7 runes. We could potentially see a Yi, but that's only one of the battlefields getting disrupted.
Yeah, Master Yi. Definitely a very effective tool to have in the champion zone. It's not like a good unit, but it's certainly not a bad unit. And the fact that it has ganking makes it so annoying to deal with.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some stronger cards in Yi's deck, but it is so nice just to be able to bring that 7 out when it's time. He's ready. It's not like you have to accelerate him. That ganking is nice. And then once he gets to the battlefield, he's an 8. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to get him out of there, too. I mean, 8's nothing to scoff at, so we'll see if this Vile Maw's Lair is the one that gets taken, but instead, this Kaisa just going to get pushed back to base with this Reaver's Row, and, Reaver's Row doing exactly what it's supposed to do, and just, I guess, really just giving your opponent even more options just all the time makes it, I don't know, I am still not sure why Kai'Sa players love Reaver's Row so much.
Uh, I think that's a great question. I think in some world it's really nice with Time Warp, especially.
Mm,
Because they can like push you out, but your guy stays alive. And then you have someone for your Time Warp. I'm
that's
not saying
fair.
that's the only reason, but it's definitely a pro, especially if you put that little Poro in there, the red guy.
Yeah, but then he's pouting.
Oh, but he's happy pouting in that Reaver's Row. You tried to kill him, you better bring spell damage, otherwise he's just running away.
Look at that. He doesn't want. He doesn't want that
He doesn't want that.
tasty Fey folk.
Wait, was it you I was talking about the purple flavor with, or was
Uh-huh.
that too? Look what's in that spoon. It's
Purple.
purple. It's purple. Told you, half the time it's medicine. Sometimes it's grape, but sometimes it's medicine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mm.
Lulu, one of my favorite champions.
You told me about this actually when we talked about purple last time. It tastes like purple.
Yeah, she goes, that tasted purple. I love Lulu.
Oh, Lulu. Turn someone into a butterfly.
Is it a butterfly?
It's
I forget what she
butterfly.
turns him into. I thought it was a squirrel.
Oh, maybe she turns into a squirrel, but she has butterfly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if we'll
Or
ever
a
see
pixie,
Lulu.
I think.
Oh, it's a pixie.
It's
I know,
called
like when you
Pit.
shoot the thing, they both shoot. Both
Yeah.
her and the pixie shoot it.
Yeah.
Fun.
She's fun. She's really fun. I bring her to mid, even though I'm not supposed to anymore because her scaling got nerfed real hard, but it's still really fun.
I have her from when I used to play support 10 years ago. Bro, I cannot realize how old I am. Every time I talk about League of Legends, I realize how old I am because it's been 10 years.
Yeah. I think about all the songs that I grew up on, and I'm like, oh my God, those are like 20 years old.
Oh, dude, somebody was playing the Shawty's like a melody in my head. Whatever that song is earlier.
Yeah, that's like
I'm pretty sure that was my high
2002.
school. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was my high school. No, that wasn't 2002. That was in high school. I graduated in 2015. So it was
Okay.
like 2012, maybe 2014. Want to
Maybe.
make me even more older than I am. What's up with that?
I think you just grew up with that song. Yeah, either way.
Am I thinking of a different song? It's got like the guy from Maroon 4. It's got the
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's like 2008, 2009.
I don't know. Who cares? That being said, it looks like we are bringing
Just
Kai'Sa
a
back in,
Darius
or-
and a Raven Bloom student. The Darius is supposed to be readied, but he's just not going to do anything about it. Doesn't want to just to overcommit to the battlefield, which makes sense. I mean, yeah, you can overtake the battlefield, but we have to assume that that is a Zhonya's Hourglass on that Reaver's Row. And really just sending and throwing away Darius to draw a card with the Kai'Sa doesn't feel good. So gonna send it back to Stardust here. He is gonna be able to hold, but he is still behind on points, so he's gonna have to figure something out. And right now, stuck on 7 runes.
Yeah, it's a great point. I'm just going to quickly bring this up because I just remembered it right now. Stardust actually requested me to let everyone know that there's dice on the side of where his deck is. So if you see his notepad come out and it's on the left side, don't make fun of him. There's stuff on the other side. He told me to tell chat this specifically.
That's a
Supposedly they
very
were making fun of him last time. Because he would like write down the notes after sabotage, and he said that chat was very mad at him for it. And I was like, okay, I'll tell them, don't worry. And then I was like,
Okay.
wait, I'm not streaming next round, so I can't tell them. But yeah, just so everyone knows, we write notes.
Okay.
It's gonna be on a weird side, but it's not his fault.
Okay, so actually, fun fact: I was interviewing him before the semifinals, and I was asking about Yi and if he had done any training about it, like practicing with it and all that. And he said he was, and his friends jokingly call him Master Lee because his last name is Lee.
Ooh, I like that one. I like
I
that
know.
one. And it sounds like he practiced a lot then. It sounds like he practiced a lot if they started calling him Master Lee. Actually insane the amount he must have practiced to get that type of name. But he did bring out the eggplant, and we have a tasty Fey Folk up in that Reaver's Row, and it looks like Darius is going to come in and try to challenge him. I assume he has put some extra might on here. Otherwise, yeah, there comes in the cleave, and he's going to be a 10 now.
Yeah, and now he can opt to, in response to this Reaver's Row, just flip over that Zhonya's Hourglass, protect that Tasty Feyfolk for the following turn, and then force off Koko from that battlefield. And yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. But I mean, once he loses that that Zhonya's Hourglass, he could also just flip over the Zhonya's Hourglass and then bring the Tasty Feyfolk to base. In response, I think he's going to pull over a judge to the side just to ask a couple questions. Doesn't want to reveal any cards, which makes sense. I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually surprised to see Altar of Unity as one of his battlefields. I know I didn't get to look at the quarterfinals, but yeah.
Yeah, he's running Altar of Unity, which is when you
Or
hold,
yeah.
you get to generate a one might recruit. Really interesting. He actually didn't generate any himself last time he played it. The Annie got all of them. But I was also interested to see that because normally we see Obelisk of Power instead of Altar of Unity as that third one for even like non Aurora Yees. But I think he has a little bit more like a he's not trying to like ramp up as fast with any of his cards. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So he does, but not because if you ran Obelisk, you would obviously then run like Aeons and stuff in your sideboard,
Hmm.
and he seems to not be running those either, which seems to be freeing up his sideboard for more pieces that are helping him in this tournament, though.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, now it does mean that this Zonia's Hourglass, so he does get to allow the Tasty Faithful to die, and
Mm-hmm.
then before he loses control of the battlefield, flips over the hidden card and gets to keep the Zonias.
Yeah, so I think there was like a rule change in December that kind of allows this because people were like slightly confused, and it's because you can react to Death Knell, but it's already dead when you do Death Knell. So if you flip it in reaction to your Death Knell, you can keep Zonias, is my understanding.
I think that's yeah, that makes sense.
Because you still hold the battlefield until you've like resolved all that. So reacting to it allows it to stay and not hit the Tasty Faithful, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, I actually would have thought that he would want to have or wanted to have kept the Tasty Faithful, but just wants to trigger that death now, wants to be able to get that card, wants to get that ramp off, and really just wants to hold on to that E for as long as possible. So, gonna figure out how he's supposed to get over this E. Looks like it's going to be this smoke screen coming down onto the
Mm-hmm.
E, which does mean that
Ooh.
that Raven Bloom student gets a trigger, as well as that E is going to go down to 2 might. So
Mm-hmm.
if he does attack, if Koko does attack this turn, that does mean that
Well, he's a 2, and the Raven Bloom's a 4 right now.
how is the Raven Bloom for? Oh,
He
because
goes one
Cleave.
up from Cleave and one up from the smoke screen.
Right.
I don't know if he triggered it on it, but he would be a 4, and then it's going to go back up to a 4. So they both die, but Zonias will save the E here.
Yep, I see. And then Kaisa will be able to draw a card, also bring Koko up to 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that Falling Star. So Falling Star going to be able to clean up that E very effectively here. And now Stardust is in a very difficult position. Yeah, I mean, he lost both his units. I think it would have been better, like I said, to just have protected that
Mm-hmm.
Tasty Faithful. My brain is really, like, I'm forgetting the words.
No, it's completely understandable. There's been a lot of games here today. It is kind of interesting that he did choose to do that. I do think he wouldn't have gotten Death Knell if he did do it. So I wonder if there's like some world that he's like he has a plan for what he's going to do this turn.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. All right, so this Tasty Faithful is going to come down here, 7 runes, as well as that 1 rune that
Mhm.
he recycled. Going to probably send that into the Kaisa, or maybe not. I don't know,
Yeah, I'm not
actually.
sure which one I think would be the better decision. Obviously, he's going to send it into one of them. He technically beats, I guess, like Darius or Kaisa here, but Darius could survive by just by moving back to the base instead. So it does look like we're going to be going into Vilemaw. The Kaisa does die, and we're going to go to 5 points. So we are 5 to 6. We still have 3 runes up, which does leave some level of protection against if the Darius makes it all the way around or things like that. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, he has to be able to keep 2 up. Like he has to be able to keep 2 up here, just because we did see that rune prison, but he's got so many body runes. I don't know how many calm runes he has remaining, but this Darius is going to get forced into this Vilemon's lair. There's no way to bring it out unless he has something like retreat. But he could potentially have something like a Hex Tech Ray, because 5 plus 3 is bigger than 8. And then that Pouty Portal plus something like another Kaisa or a Darius or even a Thousand Tail Fox, or Thousand Tail Watcher rather, will be able to get over this. That said, if Stardust does have something like On Guard, which I believe we did see, that is just going to eat a removal spell out of Koko, and he will have to recycle as well, which means that he will not have enough runes to do something like the Thousand Tail Watcher. So
Yeah, so it does look like it's going to be that Hex Tech, just like you mentioned. It is going to equal out their might, though. So it is 5 plus the 3 damage and 8 on that eggplant. So both would die potentially. It does look like he is debating some of those might boosting cards in his hand, potentially even the Rune Prison, to deal with the Darius and still kill it. But let's see what he decides to do.
yep. So now both of these players kind of mulling over their options. I mean, obviously Koko cannot do anything further, just waiting for his opponent to make his final decisions. But yeah, I mean, I think he's in a fairly commanding position overall. I think you would have liked to have held on to this rune prison, but now that Koko is at 5 runes, Stardust has a little bit less to think about, and now he's counting the runes just to double check, make sure that he is not going to be able to get to that 8 rune threshold. And yep, it looks like the player is confirming. So now Stardust has to decide whether or not he wants to let this Tasty Fable die. I think he is going to actually opt to do so.
Interesting. I like the choice. I think. But we are going to get 2 more runes here from the Tasty Faithfolk and that draw, which is just so nice, and getting more and more runes that we can use to also defend in future turns. And it does look like we are going to be using Clockwork Keeper to draw as well.
I'm not necessarily sure I like this idea here, just because, well, he has Legion Rearguard. And yep, just going to reveal that he has the opportunity to do so. Use the Patty Poro and the Kai'Sa in hand. And there we go. So I think I would have liked to have seen him protect that Tasty Faithfolk there at least. But very, very well played from Koko. Able to navigate that game beautifully and take game 1 here.
Yeah, interesting game 1. Really great job by Koko as well as Stardust. I do like the Gengar arts as well on the back of these battlefields. Very adorable. Always love the Pokemon arts. And we'll have to see what they decide to do for game 2. Stardust should be going first here in my opinion. So I do think I'm going to see Grove of the God Willow is my guess. And then it's going to be I'm interested to see what Koko decides to choose here. Because I think it's going to be Vilemon, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure why Kai'Sa's on Vilemon's lair. I feel like it's just there to punish the Annie players. And to Yi, it kind of feels like a detriment.
I don't think that it's bad against Yi, per se. I think it's like I think like it's not great against Yi, but I think it's something they've accepted. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I think Vilemon is so good against Annie, especially like fight or flight, that it equals it out since Annie is otherwise a bad matchup. Is my like understanding.
That makes sense. Okay, I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, Koko definitely needs to be on Arena's Greatest on the play. I don't think you ever want to do it on the draw. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. And then we know that Yi is going to be almost 100% of the time on Grove of the God Willow on the play. There's no way you want to give your opponent first access to that Grove of the God Willow, especially against Kai'Sa, where they have so many cheap removal tools, and a lot of your guys are so small on the offense that it feels more than likely that they're going to be able to hold with that Grove of the God Willow.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they decide to do here. Getting a couple draws of that off the Grove of the God Willow can be so helpful in ending up winning the game. So let's see here. So it does look like we are just doing our sideboards. I'm excited to see what Koko might have in sideboard for Yi in general. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have too much for like the mid-range Yi, compared to he probably expected more Aurora, but I'm sure there's still something in there that maybe will help him. But he also won game 1. Maybe he's happy with his game plan.
Yeah, I mean, it may have just been like, okay, I guess if my opponent has it, he has it. And unfortunately for him, his opponent didn't have it. And at least now he knows that his opponent is on those Legion Rearguards. I'm not sure if Stardust has had that opportunity to play against that card yet, so wasn't quite sure how it worked. But now seeing it in action and losing it to here in game number 1, at least he's going to understand to play around it better. So we'll have to see how Stardust navigates games 2 and 3, and hopefully we do get that ever so important game 3.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Really excited. No matter what, these are both fantastic players. They've been playing so many hours these last 2 days, and I'm really excited to get to watch this next match.
Absolutely.
Does look like we are presenting here our decks, and we'll be getting into our next game very shortly, though. Very exciting. Let's see. I love the Poro, by the way. The little Poro point counter is adorable.
Man, there's a pun there, and I can't figure it out right now. Point row? No, that sounds terrible. I tried. I failed.
For a second, I thought you were doing a reverse row pun, and I was like, what? But I
No.
figured it out at the end of Poro is row. Yeah, see, I'm with you here. I'm trying to help. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'll
I feel
try to
like you
think of it.
somehow made that. Like mine was already bad, and then we kind of just like.
We're slowly figuring it out. It's okay. It's okay.
Do you have a Poro pun? that you
No,
did?
not at all, actually. But I'm excited for the day that we get the Poro buns. Like where we used to be able to have them instead of potions in League Legends. Like you can eat them.
The Poro snacks?
Yeah, maybe it's Poro snacks, but they look like little buns, like little hot, like cinnamon rolls.
Yeah,
I want one. I want that to be a card
it is a card.
in this game.
Yeah, set 2, Spirit Forged.
We're in step 1, buddy. The game's not out yet. It's not. I'm excited. I said. It's
It
not.
clicked. I understand
It's
now.
not here yet. I'm just saying we're still step 1. We're still step 1.
Chat.
It is
chill
interesting.
Out.
It is interesting. I will agree with this one. I will agree. We need 2 different colors, but it's okay.
Yeah, my brain. I'm not smart enough to remember which is my rune deck and which is not. I went to the first tournament. I had 1 set of sleeves, and then by the end of the tournament, I had two sets of sleeves. I was like, okay, I get it.
Oh, okay. I'm following. Now. Yeah, I think it's on the 20 lore mats. It's not a big deal, but I feel like it's really fun to get to match the 2 colors of different parts of your mats. 2 colors of your sleeves, different parts of your mats. Very cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I have waves. They're like blue waves, and I do blue and light blue, almost white. Those are my 2 colors.
Okay.
It's adorable. And it's a big part of card games, is picking your accessories.
This is
Which,
true.
by the way, we do have some really cool mats here, / on 20 Lore Pro if you are interested in some really cool mats. So I would definitely recommend checking them out.
Absolutely. So we're going right into game number 2. Both players having no turn 1 available to them, which
Wow.
means that Stardust is still going to be the first player, and this Wheel of Waters is going to have a fairly good value as of so far. Yeah, I mean, shout outs to Koko, and yeah, I love the chat. Keep it up, guys. I honestly, it brings us joy. So just please keep talking.
We do get a bit of water, and we basically get a turn on with extra mana. So I'm interested next turn. I'm expecting it to go into that Grove of the God Willow, but there is enough runes up technically for this Kaisa to accelerate somewhere. So I do think that might be too aggressive.
Yeah, I think with the Wheel of Water in play, just exhausting all of your runes doesn't feel like a good idea. There's, On Guard and Discipline, as well as Rune Prison that he has access to. So it's not going to feel good to do that into the Wheel of Waters. And now Kaisa's just going to come down by herself, going to try and survive as best as she can. And, I mean, if there is a charm on the side of Stardust, Lopez is not going to feel good about that. So Grove of the Godwill going to be overtaken for now. And, yeah, I don't know that there's too much in the way of Koko. So, yeah, just going to pass that turn right back.
Yeah, I definitely think a little risky maybe going with the Wheel of Water for a second there. Just because, maybe he counts as attacking there, but I don't think he does. But, we still have the 1 rune up for Hex Tech, right? So you never know if that could have come down. But maybe we just had to do it either way since we're already so late into the game.
I mean, he was sitting onto the Defy, so there was really no threat available. But, yeah, unfortunately, no charm.
No, that's good, though, that they had Defy. I missed that part. But, yeah, we just passed with 6 runes up, though. So that's with 4 cards in hand.
5, 6, 6.
1, 2, 6 cards in hand. No second unit. And I'm reading combat tricks. I think we're all reading combat tricks from that.
I really want to copy pasta this. Okay. Anyways, continuing. That is my ADHD in full effect right now. That is.
I don't look at chat for a reason, bro. I try to avoid chat for a reason.
All right, we're gonna do this.
I'm someone who reads those out. I'm definitely someone who reads those out. I really like doing them in funny voices. But it does look like Kaisa is going to go to Vile Moth. It is not contested. And she'll be able to draw a card off of her ability, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
200
absolutely.
IQ, some might say.
Oh man,
We're too many hours into the stream.
we're too deep, guys. We're
I don't
too
know why
deep.
we're laughing at this. I do.
Oh man. Okay, so for real though, this Vilemons layer is actually going to be proved to be a little bit annoying for this Kai'Sa, as she's just not going to be able to conquer again unless he has something like Retreat in hand, which I didn't think I saw. I did see a Stupefy though, so might find a way to protect. But if Stardust is able to hold on to this Grove of the God Willow, it really feels like things are going to be very problematic for Koko in these following turns.
Yeah, I feel like putting the like Yi once he's established in the different battlefields, it can be really hard to then figure out a way to get him out of it because the Yi just has so many pieces to be able to defend.
Absolutely. So Koko just not feeling comfortable enough with that smokescreen. If there was something like a rune prison, you just kind of threw away a smokescreen for nothing. And that's one of your biggest tools to be able to deal with a lot of these big units that Master Yi has available to him, especially with that +2 defend. It feels like a lot of these big units are just even bigger. So considering going out with this Yi, looks like he's just deciding against it all of a sudden. But there is that purple guy, that eggplant.
Does look at Tasty Folk is an option. I wonder when he drew into that, but I wonder if he'll play it. We do have 8 runes available for us that could technically be a acceleration because Tasty Folk, he has so many different things he can do. One of them includes accelerate. And Stardust has a lot of options here, but he does have to remember there are 2 runes up, which is potentially Hex Text Ray, Stupefy. That is Smokescreen as well. I think that's the options.
I think those are the options. Yeah. So he might even just opt to play this Tasty Faithful onto this Grove of the God Willow, and then just bring back this Wheel of Water. So that way, if there is a way to deal with this Faithfolk, at least he has a way to protect, or at least he has a way to find other answers in these following turns, and then still has a unit in base. That said, it does make him very weak to Singularity, and I think if he runs into that Singularity yet again, it might be game losing, considering how much might Koko already has on board.
Yeah, I do think that it could potentially be a problem. That's another really fun way to use Tasty Faithfolk, by the way, what you mentioned. But I will say, Tasty Faithfolk, even if we play him up there, we'll have 2 runes up, so Tasty Faithfolk can be out of range of Singularity. So, could be an option still.
Absolutely. So maybe that is the consideration here for Stardust. I feel like you're just fine playing this patiently right now. Yes, he gets to get that hold point. Yes, he will be at a couple of extra points on this following turn. But if there is that Singularity like we alluded to, all of a sudden this Wheel of Water just sitting by itself with all these runes up does not feel nearly as good. So I think that's right now Stardust's biggest concern. And we'll have to see how he navigates it because... yeah, that Singularity, definitely a pretty big punish.
Interesting. He did decide to...
concede the battlefield?
Isn't it 7 runes turned sideways?
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Don't even talk about it. I'm not mathing. Yes, it's 7 runes. We did pick the Tasty Faithful. I'm surprised he retreated out.
Okay. That's all right. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long weekend. She's been here since 9 a.m. this morning. She was here at 8 a.m. last morning as well. We had, like a 13, 14-hour day yesterday?
It's not a big deal. We don't need to explain it. But yeah, I definitely for a second was like, 7? We're accelerating then. But no, he's not. It's good. It's good. He's not accelerating. I was surprised that he didn't go into Grove of the God Willow. Obviously, he does think Koko has some risk that he doesn't just want to sacrifice that Tasty Faithfolk to. So Stardust is just trying to play around all these different options that could allow Koko to come back from where he is.
Yeah, I mean, this is honestly his best bet. I think really it's like, okay, I can play around Falling Star, or I can play around Smokescreen and a couple other tools. But Really, I just can't play around the Singularity, and I just have to hope that my opponent doesn't have it. And luckily for him, right now, his opponent does not have it. And now that he taps under that 6-rune threshold, he's going to feel a sigh of relief as this Noxus Hopeful comes down.
Yeah, it does look like we are going to get that Legion Rearguard and potentially a Noxus Hopeful here. Legion is such a strong keyword. In this case, it means that if you've played another card this turn, you get some extra effect. And for Noxus Hopeful, that is playing him as a 2-cost instead of 4, which is really, really nice when he has 4 might.
Yeah, I mean, 2 energy for a 4 might unit is super powerful. So, going to consider just moving the Darius back to base. We did see him ready it, and he does also want to bring that Kai'Sa to base, but because of that Valmons layer, unable to do so. And yeah, we'll have to see if he just does not want to protect the Darius. And considering it.
Looks like we are potentially just going to retreat out of the Grove of the God Willow. Koko is just trying to, it looks like, increase his base, but it seems like maybe we're going to decide to leave Darius there. We'll have to see. There are some pros and cons. Obviously, we know that Tasty Feyfolk is a 6-might character coming into that Darius, but holding it and generating extra cards is really nice, but we do end up going back to base.
Yep. So Stardust here, going to try and find something a little bit more useful to do with his turn. And yeah, I mean, this Kai'Sa is definitely really annoying to deal with. I believe Koko is at 3 points, right? He should be at 3.
I think Koko is at 3.
Right?
Yeah,
he
after this
conquered
turn.
with Kai'Sa, held with Kai'Sa, and then the Darius came in for the 3rd point, right? Or
Yeah, I
is he
believe
supposed to be at
that's
4?
I think that's everything. Yeah, the
Okay.
3 points, and then we'll have to see what Stardust does here. Hopefully, he's able to find some more units. We do obviously have Yi, who is sitting in that chosen champion spot that could be played. But we have to keep our eye on those 4 runes that are up on Koko's side. I love how he organized them. Perfect for a Void Seeker and a Hex Tech.
Yeah. Maybe feigning it. I don't think he had either of those in hand.
Yeah, I'm just saying he has them ordered and the energy separated for it. So interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just that's a good bluff.
It's good bluff if he doesn't have them in hand, that's for sure. But I don't know. I always find it really interesting to see how different players like organize their energies for things like this. So it does look like we are potentially bringing Master Yi in from that chosen champion spot or not.
Yeah. Honestly, going back to the rune thing, I have like this weird OCD thing where I have to have them in 3s. So
in 3s. I do like 4 and then I go 3, 3, 3, and then I change them to 4s.
Yeah, I have 4 3s. I can't.
I do 3 4s at the end, but I do 3 3s and then.
Because it's 6 and 6, so like it looks weird if it's like, because then one of them gets mixed and it bothers me. It's so weird. I know.
I'm not always fully sure how to deal with my energy management, as in it not becoming a sloppy board, but it does look like we are going to bring that Yi in. We relieve 2 runes unexhausted, and so Yi is in there as a 6 against a 4, but threatening more.
That's the start of Ursi's rap career, guys.
I know. I could never be a musician. So we are going to be smoke screening. So that is 2 runes, not 3. But
Ooh, double defy for that double. Oh my gosh, for the double smoke screen. So it's going to feel pretty bad here from Koko's side. And finally, this Kai'Sa is going to get ripped away. And that does leave room for this Tasty Feyfolk to come onto the battlefield here. And yeah, we got Demetrius in the background there taking photos of the game here. This is the finals, guys. This is the big moment. So double defy, honestly, really just going to be, I think, what carries Stardust here into this game number 3, if that does happen.
Yeah, that Notify hurts, and it allows us not only to take that battlefield back from Kai'Sa, but also bring Tasty Feyfolk into that Grove of the God Willow. And now Koko has to do something to unseat Stardust from these battlefields.
Yeah, we'll see if he has it in the gas tank, but he did use most of his interaction. We do actually see this Thousand Tail Watcher, so very likely this is going to be the response. And the fact that he has so many runes available just makes it even more uncomfortable for Stardust. So yeah, it looks like that is going to be the case. There's that Thousand Tail Watcher just getting ready to come down here. 8 runes going to be exhausted, and this might be lights out.
Yeah, we do decide to accelerate the Watcher. So all these guys going down to both of them are going down to 3. They'll go back up to 5 with the Yi ability. But to note, that is going to bring us out of range of a Time Warp next turn, which we do know is in Koko's hand and is a huge threat against Yi.
Absolutely. So Tasty Faithful going to get crashed into, and yeah, there is nothing that can be done about that. So 2 runes going to be channeled, exhausted, and Stardust is going to be able to pick up a card. So hopefully he finds himself something like a Unguard to at least be able to overtake the Darius. But yeah, I mean, that Thousand Tail Watcher is going to be very difficult to get over.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it does look like we're bringing Darius up. We are only 1 card into this turn, so Darius still is a 5 versus 5 here.
Yeah, considering going for a cleave.
It looks like it's going to be a Stupefy, but it's going to be a 7 versus a 4 now. And with only 1 rune up, Stardust has no cards that could even bring him equal to that Darius.
Absolutely. So now Stardust immediately on the back foot, that Thousand Tail Watcher proving to be exactly why it was at one point a $45 rare.
It's not surprising. Darius is so strong, especially that ability that lets him ready himself mid-turn, essentially. But Koko is tapped out now. So he does seem to be holding the battlefields in an attempt for next turn, but Stardust is going to be looking for a way in at least to one of them.
Yeah, and we do see a Dead Blue Predator in his hand, so he will have some sort of interaction to deal with exactly this Thousand Tail Watcher. And yeah, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 going to be exhausted. He will have 2 runes remaining, and we'll have to see what he does with those remaining runes, but 2 body runes do need to be channeled here, so there they go. And yeah, I mean, I would like to see something like Discipline.
Yep.
Oh, he has 1 more rune available, so that's going to be...
That's nice, but not enough to get through the other side.
No, but at least it ties up the score. And we did see a Tasty Faithful in his hand, which means on the next turn he can accelerate if he so chooses. And now Koko does not have anything that can answer this Dead Bloom Predator for at least a couple of turns.
Yeah, it is. Koko's going to need something. We are going to 6 points here. I wonder if he's going to take the vial, the Dead Bloom out this turn in some way, or if he's just going to wait. And also, though, I think next turn we're going up to 11 runes, that does put us to Time Warp range.
Yeah. And if Time Warp does come off here, then it's going to be a pretty huge turn, right? Because Koko is already at 6, and if he's able to hold on to that Vile Moz at 7, that will just be game. And I mean, it would be a fairly anticlimactic ending to what has been an incredible build-up to this finals, but I mean, sometimes that is just the case, and Time Warp is just one of those cards that takes games out of nowhere.
I don't know. I think sometimes Time Warp can be very... If I couldn't see it in hand right now and he top-decked it, still not... It wouldn't be anticlimactic then. Maybe. But I see it. I see it. A little bit. I don't know. I like it to some extent, but I totally understand what you're saying.
It's actually my favorite card in the game, Time Warp. I love taking extra turns in all of my combo decks, like in Magic. I just had, like... infinite turn effects because I just love taking extra turns. Interesting.
Yeah. Was only one in Pokemon that I knew of, which is the Dialga V-Star ability. Or attack, I guess.
Oh, interesting. Dialga has a way to take an extra turn? That's
cool. He is V-Star. You can only use one V-Star per game, and he gets a second turn.
Gen 4 was my favorite generation. So
well, look at that. Cool. It's perfect.
Yeah, Garchomp is my... one of my favorites.
You're a land shark. Got it. Yeah, it looks like we are just going to be piling up on that Vialma here. We're adding another 8 might, saying Stardust, I dare you. And because Mega Mech is 0 power, does mean we're going to continue to be in range of that Time Warp.
Yep, so Grove the God will going to be able to draw an additional card, and Stardust has to find something like a Charm to be able to get over what's going on here. But a Charm onto this Mega Mech, I feel like would be a pretty devastating situation for Koko to run into, as that Dead Bloom Predator does get that additional +2 stats. So it essentially is 10 might right now, and even though this Dead Bloom Predator doesn't look like it's as big as it is, it certainly is as big as it is.
Yeah, I think Charm is definitely an option, but we have to clear out the entire Vilemaw this turn, or we're in a bit of a bad spot here as Stardust, even if he doesn't fully know it. The Water Wilder is only going to be 4 attacking, which does potentially deal with the Noxus, but it does mean we still need to unseat that Darius and the Mega Mech.
Yep, absolutely correct here. So we'll have to see if Stardust has a way to get around what is happening. He did only recycle 2 runes, which means he does have still 10 runes available to him. And it looks like he's just going to go for a Discipline here, hopefully find something a little bit more useful. Going to pump up that Wielder of Waters, draw an additional card, and hopefully find something more impactful on this turn. So we'll have to see what he finds, but it did seem like he found a charm. It just seems like he doesn't quite have an answer for both that Darius and Noxus Hopeful.
Yeah, it's going to have to be answering both here, but currently Water Wielder would be up to a 6 attacking, but Darius plus Noxus is still 9.
Yep.
And there's 2 runes up, so.
Do you have to play around things like Hextech? Well, I guess not Hextech Ray, but specifically Smokescreen. And we did see 2 Smokescreens already come out, but if there is that third Smokescreen, then...
There's also Stupefy that's a potential. Any of these might decreasers could be bad for when we attack. Yeah, second Discipline now. He would now be an 8 if he attacks.
So he's getting there.
He does seem to be getting there.
Okay. I mean, it seems like he's finding the right steps to get himself there. If he does find that charm that we were talking about earlier, he is going to be able to get rid of at least 8 might, and that will feel pretty good. So he might even just opt to get rid of the Darius and play around with things like Smokescreen, but I do think that at this point you can't really afford to do so, and you have to play around your opponent having Time Warp, because if you don't, you do just lose, and we actually do know that if he doesn't, he does just lose.
Potentially. We don't know if he'll play it. But yeah, I think he will. I think he will.
All right, so Sabotage.
Sabotage is coming down. Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter after all.
That Sabotage is absolutely devastating to see. I mean, you could see it in Koko's face. He kind of shook his head there and was like, "Ugh, yep."
Hextech, Time Warp, and Cleave.
Yeah, so he does have a few offensive capabilities, but yeah, that Time Warp, really not what you want to see go away.
So I told chat about his note taking, but he didn't show it on stream this time. Toxic.
Actually, so
Time
there
Warp.
goes that Time Warp, and yeah, Koko just shaking his head. He understands how devastating of a turn this is, and so now if Stardust has a way to get rid of this Mega Mech, Koko is going to be struggling to figure out a way back into this game.
Yeah, it could be a little difficult. Really nice Sabotage there. I'm just going to say it is not going to be anticlimactic if he top decks a second Time Warp. Not that I know he has one in deck, but I will be very hyped if it happens.
All right. Chat. Get ready for the most climactic, anticlimactic win ever.
We don't know what's going to happen.
So he's just going to send that Wheel of Water in by itself, just to be able to trade with that Mega Mech.
No charm, I guess. Or maybe he could charm now, but I feel like he would have charmed the Mega Mech out first. But maybe it doesn't matter since he couldn't get over to 10 regardless.
I think that is the case. So just considering all of his other options, I mean, he is down to exactly 6 runes, so he cannot play something like a Tasty Feyfolk as of yet. But he does have a few other options available to him. I mean, I would like to see a charm. I don't expect that he has it in hand, because I feel like he would have used it, knowing what his opponent has in hand.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So it does look like we're going to be retreating that Dead Bloom from the Grove of the God Willow, potentially threatening to do something next turn. But he is only at 6 here. He can't win this turn no matter what.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. I feel like I would have liked to have seen him just develop something onto that Grove of the God Willow, and maybe he's playing around that Hextech Ray that he knows his opponent has in hand. That's the only thing that I could be considering here. We don't know what he has in hand, as he hasn't really kind of done the thing that most players use, which is just fiddle with their hand. And they usually do it on screen, so we get a couple of peeks, but Stardust being fully patient. So it looks like it's going to be Kiana. And yeah, I mean, surprised. I guess not as surprised because it does enable her Conquer effect, which I think is that is what he's going for. He wants to be able to draw an additional card on that following turn.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes down. And Find Your Cinder is going to be the fun, or at least one of the cards he plays. It leaves one rune up still. Will let him generate a rune and card draw.
Yeah, and maybe not necessarily sure that he wanted to sequence that way. I think I would have liked to have seen him use that Find Your Center earlier in the turn, just to be able to find additional cards before making any final decisions. But decisions were made, so he's just going to pass the turn here, and let's just see if that is the Time Warp.
I don't think it was.
Nope. There's a smoke
Nope.
screen. So Lecturing Yordle just going to come down, continue to bolster that battlefield. And yeah, I mean, you can see he's not happy about the cards that he's finding. So does not find something too impactful. Just going to keep his runes ready and hopefully find something better in these following turns.
Yeah, it does look like we still have 8 runes up here. We know he had Cleave. We know he has a Hex Tech. I don't know what the third card is. But whatever gets sent in here does have to deal with that Yordle first, since it does have Tank. Not only is it a great card draw, it's also a great semi-damage mitigator.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did see a Falling Star. He is considering just going ahead or going for it here. But we do know that Stardust sided in Unyielding Spirit. Or is it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Unyielding Spirit, right?
Unyielding Spirit is the no spell damage.
Yes.
Or ability, but in this case, the story is spell damage that he cares about. Oh,
Yeah.
So let's see here. There is now back to, I think that's 11 might on that Vile Maw, which is less than what Stardust is currently threatening.
This is true. So we'll have to see what happens, but 2 runes going to be exhausted, and that is going to be the Falling Star, which means that an additional 2 runes need to be used here. So he has to target twice. So 2 more runes need to be exhausted as well. 1 Fury, 2 more Furies. Okay. And there is that Unyielding Spirit.
Oof. And that is going to stop the Kiana from dying, which would have been super helpful for Koko, and hoping that he doesn't get unseated from this Vile Maw. But instead, he is just going to play a Ravenbloom Student, which will add an extra 2, putting us up to 13 versus the 12 that Kiana and Deadbloom are threatening. But obviously, Stardust has a lot of potential extra might in his hand.
Absolutely. So we do know what that last card in hand is, or we do know what one of those last 2 cards in his hand is, which is a
I think we know both. Hextech and Cleave?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's exactly those 2. So just gonna get rid of very likely that Hextech Ray. Yep. So there that goes, and that is no longer a viable option for him. And that last card is that Cleave that we know about. So yeah, no interaction on his opponent's side of the field, and then Kiana very likely going to go into that Grove of the Godwill just to be able to draw a card.
I kind of wonder if he's not going to do that, though, this turn, so that he can try to take out the entirety of Vile Maw.
I mean, he does need to get rid of this Vile Maw's lair, but I think if he has that Charm in hand, which I think is really just the key that he needs to have, because if he can charm away that Darius, then this Kiana essentially is a 5 might Kiana, and it looks like he has that Charm in that bottom left corner there. I can't quite tell
But
what
the
it
thing
is.
is he could use the Cleave, and it would still boost the Ravenbloom. So then Kiana loses at 6 to a 8 if we charm away the Darius.
Oh, yep, that's true. That's true.
And then Ravenbloom is an extra 1. So then we are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which beats out Deadbloom if we decided to charm. So that doesn't... Maybe with the 2 it's fine, though. Like how he has here. I wasn't thinking about the tasty. So it does look like we're going to do Kiana, like you said. But I'm wondering if he is going to use charm or not.
Yeah, this is definitely very risky. I mean, that is a good point. That Cleave is going to be very problematic for him to deal with.
If he decides to charm.
Yeah.
He could potentially, I guess, like charm something else that's like not the Darius, obviously. But he would have to charm like one of the smaller guys for it not to be enough from the Cleave to kill. Because the 4 or the 5 would have problems. There would be problems with it.
Absolutely. So let's see. That's 14 might. His opponent has 13 might.
Mm-hmm. And the cleave could put him to 15 as well. Since
Uh,
Raven Bloom gets +1 when you play a spell.
wouldn't that be 14?
Oh, I thought you said he had 14, and then my bad, I misunderstood.
5 plus 4 is 9, plus 4 is 13, yeah.
Yeah, I just misheard from what you said.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying. So it does look like we are gonna see that charm come over. It is gonna be Yordle. It does look like we are not gonna play Cleave at this time. Makes sense to some extent. And it is gonna die to that Kiana.
There we go. It looks like he figured out the math there. Yeah, a very difficult turn, very difficult set of turns as well. And there it is. So, yeah, Koko not able to take it here. And that is going to be game number 2 going to Stardust. So we will be able to see that game number 3. And honestly, not anticlimactic there.
Nope, you got what you wanted. We're going to game 3. But while they do sideboard, we're going to run a really quick commercial just for everyone to make sure that they don't get commercials during the actual final game of the set.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, commercial. There we go.
So we are going to be on that Altar of Unity versus Arena's Greatest, which
You have to
is
assume
gonna be
favors the
interesting.
Kaisa. The shorter game, I feel like has to favor the Kaisa.
I wonder, since Yi is also running small guys in this case. Because they're both running small guys. It's not like... I understand like the Arena's Greatest is making like a smaller time period when like it's Aurora, but I wonder, since they're small guys, if it's not going to have as much of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it feels like it's much scarier to deal with an Arena's Greatest than anything else. Or not, sorry, oh my gosh, a Dead Bloom Predator than anything else.
Oh, a Dead Bloom Predator or anything else. I guess I could see that. I just mean like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, it definitely seems scary for an Aurora Yi who needs to take a long time to get to play any character versus
Right.
one who's also playing smaller characters. So yeah. So it'll be interesting here to see what exactly they decide to do with these battlefields. But I'm so excited that we get to see a game 3 between these two fantastic players.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, both of these players have been playing incredibly well here. I think game number 1, Koko was the better player between the two. And then here in game number 2, both players were honestly playing, I felt like, immaculately. And unfortunately for Koko there, that sabotage was just too much to deal with.
Oh my god, that perfectly timed sabotage. As someone who does play Yi, it was nice to see it actually grab the time warp. But as someone who enjoys watching Kaisa, my heart clenched. It broke. It's okay.
Kaisa did not survive.
It didn't, but it won without time warp game 1. So it's not like it needs time warp.
It did there. Okay, I'm done.
It needed a damage spell is what it needed. It needed many things other than time warp game 2. Let's put it that way. Or maybe we just needed Stardust to hit less sabotages. The 1 was okay, but Hextech would have also, I feel like, pushed over the damage.
I mean, I would have been okay with the sabotage, right? Or with a Hex Tech Ray over the cleave. Just because, sure, you Hex Tech Ray my Kiana, I still trade.
Oh, what I was meaning was if that second sabotage never happened, we'd have cleave and Hextech. And
Right.
then you would have, so it was 9 plus 2. You would get, so 9 plus 2 is 11 versus the 14. You would already get 3 extra damage from the Hextech, but I would go up 1 as well. So now we're at 15 damage, and cleave is also plus 1. So like Riven Bloom's a 4.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know that any of them all survive, but he wouldn't have won by taking both battlefields, is what I guess I was getting at.
Fair enough.
So this first sabotage definitely won him some extra turns. Second sabotage definitely clutched him the game.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so game number 3 here. Both of these players off to their ideal start. This Wheel of Water is going to be coming down, but I did actually see a falling star. And while he opted not to go for the falling star, he just did not want to allow that Pouty Poro to just easily be taken out. So he's going to play it a little bit patiently here. Just keep that Pouty Poro in base, allow this Wheel of Water to overtake this Altar of Unity. And now that this Kai'Sa or Kiana comes down, that falling star very likely to hit the field.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he decides to put it into that Kiana or into the Watcher. But excited as well to see what Koko can do here, especially because he's running the arena's greatest. He's the one who's crunched the time. Can he make it?
Yeah, we do see that time warp in hand, but it is going to be a lot of turns before he's going to be able to utilize it. And yeah, I mean, this doesn't feel good to Falling Star this early, especially if you have to pay that double deflect cost this early on. It's going to punish your rune count so much for the rest of this game that I feel like you might just lose to the lack of resources that you have.
Yeah, it's a good question. We'll have to see what because he's gonna have to weigh it. I wonder. It was sending him back 4 runes, I guess 3, because obviously Kai'Sa is kind of almost a seal, but uh, it definitely seems like a really heavy price to pay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um.
Let's see here.
Now, I wish I could see his hand a little bit better so I could give better commentary, honestly. But it does look like a Darius is coming down. I would like to see something like a Stupefy just to ready it right back up. It looks like a Cleave will just do the same thing here. And if he has the Defy, that it will keep that Darius at bay, opts not to do so. So just going to accept that this Wheel of Water is going to get taken away. And now it is going to be up to Koko, or Stardust rather, to retake this battlefield. But he does want to keep back both of these units, does not want to overtake this arena's greatest, wants to wait for a more opportune time to allow at least one of these units to score.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And so he does go and bring that up, and wouldn't be surprised if we also take that arena's greatest, like you mentioned. It does look like Poro is going to be who ends up sitting in arena's greatest here.
Yeah, so 6 runes going to be available to Stardust on this turn, and 3 points already scored here from this Kai'Sa player. And while he did play patiently last turn, just kind of held off on it, he is going to use this discipline and play a little bit more aggressively, knowing that his opponent is fully exhausted. And yeah, just retake this arena's this Altar of Unity. Now he has to decide whether or not he wants to channel the rune or draw the card. And most players do opt to draw the card. We'll have to see if that is going to be the case. No, he does need that extra rune.
Yeah, I think it's kind of nice to try to like get more runes early, especially because as hopefully we can use some of those like might adding cards in our hand and things like that. We are going to be looking for a second unit to put down here, though, to hopefully be threatening either next turn or just the arena's greatest in general.
Yeah, we'll see what it is. It's a Clockwork Keeper, and actually just going to use that rune that he essentially just channeled right now, just to be able to drop down this Clockwork Keeper efficiently. And now this Kai'Sa player is going to be at 4 points, so at an even point threshold, which is what a lot of these aggressive decks want to be on. And we'll have to see how he navigates it, because, yeah, I mean, this Kiana is going to be very difficult to get over.
Yeah, I think that's something really nice about Clockwork Keeper. He is tiny, but he does give you the choice to be able to draw a card if you decide to recycle. So Stardust is just growing out his hand here, figuring, getting more choices in some of these future turns. We are going to pass to Koko, who does have the Yordle in base threatening 2, but Kiana is a 6 with E. So it does look like we are going to retreat. It looks like out of a nope. Yeah. We
He's
could
considering it.
retreat.
Yeah, he is considering it.
Ooh, Mega Mech into the base. I always love Mega Mech. It does look like Koko is choosing potentially to take a turn off here, but Mega Mech is a great option when it's a turn that you just want to be growing your base, figuring it out instead of actively attacking, because you always want to be adding more might to your base every turn, especially with the potential chance to be time warping in the future. But if you have to play your Darius and you have to pay a power, or you have to pay a power to put down the Thousand Tail and then not actually get to utilize its like abilities, it doesn't feel as good. And in this case, it's just 7 flat, no power cost.
Yeah, and it's also 8 might, which is
True.
a very difficult situation to deal with.
Yeah, I will say I do think Stardust is one of the few decks that can deal with 8, but I'm sure he does not want to face off against it. Okay, so it does look like Stardust is trying to figure out what to do. He did get the recruit off of holding on Altar of Unity, finally one recruit into play, and he was able to get 1 point off of holding, and now it is going to be time to figure out what to do with that Arena's Greatest. We have 2 might potentially able to attack, but that is 8 runes that we have at our use.
Yep. So, I mean, it would be interesting to see if he just moves back this Kiana to base, allows himself to conquer again on the following turn, and might even just continue to like bolster his battlefields. Understands that his opponent will be able to get to 6 points, but he will have a much more aggressive set of lines in these following turns, because right now this Mega Mech is very big, and Stardust has no idea how to deal with it.
Um, we'll have to see. It does look like instead we are going to be bringing out Yi, who is just, I mean, we're potentially bringing out Yi, who is 7 energy, 1 power, could definitely de-seat this Pouting Poro, and potentially deal with that Mega Mech as well if he comes up, because with the leader Yi, it would be an 8 when defending. But it does look like first we are going to decide some of these different things. It does look like we potentially have 2 charms at our grasp, an unyielding spirit as well, maybe a discipline. There's definitely a lot of options here for Stardust with dealing with some of Koko's units.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I didn't see a Rune Prison, which would have been his biggest answer for this Mega Mech, at least for the following turn. But doesn't have it as of right now. So actually, still considering holding on to it. Might do something like Charm with something like a Discipline, or even I mean, there's a lot of different tools that he could have access to. So just considering all the different avenues he might have access to, and right now, it does actually look like he has that Discipline, but doesn't want to get rid of the Kiana. Just wants to use that Clockwork Keeper to get rid of that Pouty Poro, force this Lecturing Yordle onto one of these battlefields, and then continue to bolster his backline.
I do think Stardust's choices are really interesting watching Yi, because I do think sometimes that Yi is like so strong in defending with that +2, but Stardust seems fairly happy in the games that we watched, moving his characters back from base and back from a battlefield to base instead of just trying to use that +2 that Yi offers.
Yeah, and I mean, he's sitting on the double charms, but just doesn't yet feel confident in utilizing them. Doesn't want to use the charm on a Lecturing Yordle. Did use it last game, but that was really just to remove that 2 final might and make things a little bit more difficult for Koko Lopez, knowing exactly what he had in hand. So just going to play this Yi. I actually really like this here. It does enter ready, so that is the truth. There are some things that get benefits when they ready. I don't know if that is available in set 1, but nonetheless, it will stay enter readied. So now Stardust needs to consider all his other remaining options. Is going to just go into this Arena Greatest. I think if he was going for this line, the Clockwork Keeper line doesn't make much sense.
Maybe. I probably could have kept the Clockwork Keeper, but Stardust is still deciding what he thinks best. But it looks like we're just going to sacrifice the Yi as well into the Mega Mech. We don't want him to have it in future turns, it looks like.
Yeah, this makes the most amount of sense here. I think he's playing around this Thousand Tail Watcher. I think he kind of just regretted his decision with the Clockwork Keeper, accepted that the mistake was made, and is just going to move on from there. And I think this is the best line possible. Like, you made your mistake already, just deal with it. And I think this is the best situation that he could come up with after the fact. So this Falling Star, very likely going to be a card that comes down here, but Legion Rearguard going to be a response in kind. And both these units are going to be bigger than this 1 might recruit, and this Falling Star is going to come down. It is going to still hurt to have to pay 2 deflect, and recycle 3 units or 3 cards. But at the end of the day, again, you don't feel as bad because your opponent's fully exhausted. You don't have to play around that unyielding spirit.
Yeah. So now all we have left is the recruit. So
But he does have discipline.
yeah, that is true. We do have discipline. It just never feels good to be left down. I feel like that one might recruit, but he is definitely one of the ones that has those combat cards that'll let us be able to overcome for sure. Hopefully, Stardust can find some more units to put down into his base, but we're under immense pressure with with both battlefields filled by our opponent. He's at 6 points. There's also a card in his base, but at least he's only at five runes, going to 7.
Yep. So discipline gonna come down here. The problem is that he has no answer for a smoke screen, but he did manage to pick up a sabotage here, so he could do something like move this recruit into the Altar of Unity, charm away either this Ravenbloom student or this Lecturing Yordle, and hopefully find that his opponent does not have a Thousand Tail Watcher, because I feel like if that is the case, this will be the game. There is also that Kai'Sa available from the Champion Zone, and while he does not have... not sure what he is counting.
Looks like he was saying how many cards were in hand, but
yeah, I mean, Thousand Tail Watcher can't come down next turn regardless, but that Kai'Sa will be able to come down.
I'm like slightly confused though what's happening, but
he's considering just dropping down the smoke screen in response to the sabotage. But the problem is if he does that, then his time warp will go away, and then he'll have no way to cheese out that victory, and we'll have to just rely on that Kai'Sa. So I think that's what he's really afraid of right now.
Yeah, I could totally see that. It does look like he's gonna do what you just said though, and go on and play out that smoke screen. And so
a recruit token down to 1 might yet again. And if Stardust does have a Defy, he's still in a decent position, but without that Defy, it might honestly just be game right here, right now. And I feel like Koko Lopez honestly recognized this, and that's why he was taking so long to consider what to do here. Look, the ability to be able to defend either one of these units here is going to feel great. So just revealing that it is a Time Warp, going to put it right to the bottom of the deck. And now Koko in a much more commanding position, and Stardust has to do something right now.
Yeah, Stardust really does. I hadn't realized the other card was a smoke screen, so I was like, what are we doing? But yeah, I totally understand. And that was really, really smart, bringing that recruit back down to 1 before it could potentially be discarded. It's not like when you're at 4 runes that Time Warp is really that much of a risk. And so we're just hoping here that we can get these 2 points from holding.
Yeah. So now Stardust in a much more difficult position. Look, this Wielder of Waters wants to be by itself. That Clockwork Keeper obviously not going to do too much unless he conquers that battlefield, and he's stuck with this charm in hand. And I think it really does come back to that last turn with that Yi. I think if he had that Clockwork Keeper in play still, he'd have a little bit more at his disposal. But right now, he just doesn't.
Yeah, it does look like we are going to see that charm come down, which will bring one of them to the other battlefield, and it will allow them from holding to 8 points, which would also let us take one of the battlefields, hopefully, so that he has to conquer it. But we can use our Yi ability then to try to offset the might.
Yep. So that Altar of Unity going to be cleared away, and then that allows this recruit token to conquer the battlefield. Stardust will be able to be at 6 points. And now Lopez has to decide whether or not he wants to go for this win here, or if he wants to try and hold on to that arena's greatest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. It is going to be a little difficult here to figure out where to go, but it does look like we were still deciding with that last 4 might, if we might play more units. We could potentially go for like a hold, add more units to that Altar of Unity, or if we're going to try to put more into our base for next turn.
Yeah, look, this Altar of Unity isn't going to be able to find value here. I think Stardust is just trying to figure out whether or not he wants to play this Clockwork Keeper in that Altar of Unity, or if he wants to play it
Mm-hmm.
in the base. Um, Playing it in the battlefield does, to me, make more sense. Sure, you do not get to trigger the E, but there is a lot of removal tools at Koko's disposal, and maybe he's playing around that. We did see that Unyielding Spirit,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just one of those situations where uh, you're not in a good position either way. So he does manage to find Azonias, which isn't the greatest right now either. But if he had something like an On Guard, I feel like he'd feel a little bit more confident about what's going on.
Yeah, I'm sure he would be. And does look like we are just going to go on and play that Clockwork Keeper. We're potentially deciding to use Zonias, though. Uh, hmm. It looks like we're going to hide the Zonias, actually, which will allow us still potentially to use that Unyielding Spirit that you mentioned earlier.
Yep. And so now Koko up to exactly, what, 6 runes? So if there's something like Singularity, that's not going to be enough to get him over the gas tank, but that Kai'Sa is. So he's just going to send 6 in, and there
Yep.
comes the fist bump, and
That's going to be the game. And the final match of the day, that does mean Koko Lopez will be securing his first place in the first qualifier for Charlie's CCS 25K. And he and all of top 8 do officially have their invites to that 50K at the closer to the end of the year.